Good morning. I've just had to restart my live like 3 times because I don't know what day it is. I know it's Wednesday and I think it's the 7th. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. All I know is that I feel like I'm in quarantine time warp. And I do know that the full moon is tomorrow. It's within the next 24 hours. So with full moon energy, full moon asks us to release what no longer serves. Full moon asks us to relinquish and surrender to the now, because the full moon is illuminated shadow, right? So we've moved from this cycle of the new moon into the full moon, and the full moon has now shown you and is illuminating what needs to be released. So if you wanted to do a full moon ritual, especially because we've moved into this new storyline around the North Node and the South Node. Every 18 months they shift into new signs. So what is it? We've talked about this on Monday. What is the story that you want to tell? And then what do I need to release in order to move fully into that present moment of this new story that I want to tell? There's also a thing about, because it's spring, you know, I have 5 baby squirrels that have are coming out of their nests every day now, and this lighting is fucking weird. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place today. Anyway, these 4 baby squirrels are they're just adorable, right? And there's this newness that they have, like they're adventurous and they're looking for their food, obviously, but to watch them, I'm like, okay, what can I learn from these baby squirrels? And what I notice in the difference between the older squirrels and the younger squirrels is the younger squirrels are more courageous. So can I take on the energy and move forward? They're very exuberant in their energy, right? They're excited. It's like they're coming out of their ground squirrels. They're coming out of their little nest and they're excited to see what they're going to find today. And they're playful. And so that's the medicine of baby squirrel for me. And then when you're on the phone, when you're using your phone as a recording mechanism. Anyway, so I recognize that there's this exuberant energy of baby squirrel medicine that says go forward in a way that's unbounding, like they fly, right? They don't fly, but they do this sort of like, you know, when you see an exuberant puppy or any kind of childlike energy is very exuberant. So what that means to me is they're very light in their energetic vibration, right? They're not carrying all the crap that maybe their parents are carrying, or you know, the weight of the world that we've globbed onto and carried with us through the years. So this is an opportunity today and tomorrow, full moon energy, is to release those things that are holding you, making you heavy. Release those things that are holding you back, we'll say. Now, there is no real holding back, because that's a linear concept, but it's a release of density. It's the weight of our beliefs, the weight of our fears, the weight of our regrets, debts. That's all heavy energy. So if I allow myself to release it, then I can have this more exuberant, childlike, puppy-like energy. And so again, recognizing that the moon is full. So what I'm going to do, and I would invite you to try this as well if you desire, is that anytime actually this evening or into tomorrow evening, even into the next evening, anytime now within the next couple days, write down what you're ready to release. Now, I want to say, not just like I'm ready to release, you know, the stuff that I need to get rid of in my, that I have that's ready to go to be donated. Like it's sitting there because I haven't gone to be able, because there's no donation centers open. I'm ready to release that. Okay. I'm ready to release 5 pounds. Okay. Those are great, right? But can I go a little bit deeper? And if I recognize, why am I still holding on to this stuff? Well, I'm ready to release the energy around the reason why. So I'm ready to release the whatever's, if it's 5 pounds, we'll use that as the example. Why am I carrying the quote unquote 5 pounds? If it's a creation of a mechanism for protection, I'm ready to release my fear around the ideas that I'm not protected. I'm ready to release the old storylines from the past 18 months that no longer serve me. That's a really good one for us generally, collectively. I'm ready to release any relationships, any alignments that are hooking me to a lower vibration and not allowing me to move into my higher good. I'm ready to release addictions around blah, 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 fill in the blank. So go deeper about what it is that you want to release. And if you were remembering 2 weeks ago when there was the new moon energy, what we were asking for is, notice, is there something that's come up in the last cycle? And this is where work over a period of time is really beneficial, right? So because we recognize that the full moon is an ending of a cycle, of the moon cycle, and that as we release that, then we're going to move into the new space after Friday, the new space of growing again. Actually, no. Of the shadowing, right? So the moon is going into the shadow energy, so that we're setting the intention of what we're releasing into that shadow, that it goes back out in, if that makes sense. So the release happens energetically. If you ask, well, Stacey, why me setting an intention and writing a letter, or writing something down and then burning it, how does that benefit me truly, right? Like, how does that really benefit me? So what happens is, this is how I align with it, is that energy gets stuck in our nervous system. There's a siren coming up the way. Bless that, whatever that's for. My prayer is that everyone is healthy and good. And so as I recognize and understand that my releasing, what it does is it allows the nervous system, because the mind is the gatekeeper, right? As I ask that, as I set that intention and then I put it in writing, my system then can kind of go, oh, okay, we can buy off on that. There's deep connection with intention to the nervous system. So, because the traumas and the beliefs and all that are held in the mind, yes, but they're also held within the physiology of the nervous system. So I want to create a ritual that allows me to activate the release. So that's basically what we're doing. That's what Spirit says. And you can align with it in different ways, but that kind of makes sense to me, because why am I spending this time? Why am I spending this energy towards writing this letter? And is it really going to work? Well, let's experiment with it. So if I release, I want to talk about release too. Spirit wants to come through and say, understanding that the benefit of release is anytime we let go of something, it makes room for something new, right? So I let go of this thing that I no longer need, that I don't need to hold on to anymore. And let's use an example, a simple example of I'm releasing things out of my closet, right? I'm getting rid of things in my closet. We'll use that as a symbology. When that stuff is gone and it's gone away and it gets to be recycled in whatever form that looks like, right? Then I have the opportunity to fill my closet with new things. And once the closet's full, it becomes havoc, right? So that's kind of how the system operates. So once I'm able to release what no longer serves me, what I know I need to let go of, we all know what we need to let go of. And if you're not knowing it, it's because you're kind of burying your head in the sand, right? We all really know. I needed, in order for me to get where I desire to be, what I want my story to be, I do need to release some things. Okay, what are they? So I know what they are. And then I go about the release, and then when the release happens, then there's room for the new. So that's where the upgrade gets to happen, right? That's where the new story has room to unfold. If I'm not releasing the old stuff, which is, it could be, obviously it's belief systems that I'm basically talking about, or even like releasing old friends or releasing relationships, whatever that is that you no longer need. Until you release it, you're not going to get your new story because there's no room for the new story, you see? So make room for your new story. You recognize what your story is that you want it to be. And now by releasing what no longer serves you, you get to make room for your new story. So let's do some cards. And again, remembering that it's a really great time right now to make room for your new story by releasing, because the moon is full. It's in Scorpio. So there may be a little bit of kookiness happening in the next couple days. So if you're not already laying low, lay low. Notice yourself. Are you wanting, you may want, did you see how I went? There's a ferociousness, I don't know the word, to scorpionic full moon energy, right? There's this, we want to, if you have a partner, this is a really great time to have sex. If you don't have a partner, then you might get frustrated. But like this, there's a lot of really like juicy energy, right? It's watery and it's Scorpio, it's intense and it's sexy. And so that can cause frustration. So just watch that. Where are you aligning with the energy of this full moon within the next couple days? And if you're feeling frustrated, then do something about it that is beneficial, right? Watch. You want to watch the negatives. They can have they may rear their ugly head a little bit more potent way than before, than if the full moon is in another sign. So let's pull. I want to do my tarot, the Rider-Waite tarot deck. I have a couple decks, but so set your intention about what you desire. And right now it'd be really great to set your intention about what you desire to release. But you can do it whatever you want, and recognize and understand that these messages that come through, if you don't align with them, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, that's okay. Release what doesn't work. And whatever aligns with you, take that message. All right, so let's see, what does Spirit want you to know about this? Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles upright. The Knight of Pentacles he's a deliverer, but he's a slow deliverer. This is sometimes how Taurus energy can show up, because Taurus is a fixed sign. There's a valiant energy to this, but he shows up kind of slow, like he moves too slow for your liking. And so the message here is to recognize that whatever you're desiring is coming to you. He's coming to deliver it. He's just a slow mover. So don't get frustrated and allow. He's at the banks of the river. He's getting ready to cross the river, and he's showing you, if you would say you're the one on the other side of the river, right? And you're ready for, and this is really about material gain, because it is Pentacles. So it's probably around monetary prosperity consciousness, maybe, that you're asking about. And if it's in relationship sector, then it's about this person or this thing in relationship showing up in a material way. Well, that's going to be slow. Okay. So basically what I just heard Spirit say was, so you've got your picnic basket, right? Because you realize that he's a slow mover. So you've already packed your goods, and you're just going to sit on the other side of the bank, and you're going to enjoy yourself. Enjoy the wait. Enjoy the allowing. Enjoy knowing that he's coming. Okay? That's the key right now, is that regardless of what's happening in your material world right now, It may feel like this energy of what you're desiring isn't going to come, but it's coming. Okay? So trust that and enjoy it. Have a picnic. Watch the baby squirrels in the backyard. Let's see if there's some clarity around that message. Okay. That's super clarity. So now so as this is all about release, this is a beautiful card for, actually this is Scorpio. So scorpionic energy it's time to let go, completely let go of the old way of being in order to get what you're desiring, and that may be why it feels slow also. So what is it that you need to release? Because that's what this card is saying. You need to release something in order for you to get what you desire. And once you release, let's see what Spirit says about after the release, because you're still needing to release. And I can hear someone saying, I've done so much release. I'm tired of releasing. What else do I need to release? There's something still that you need to release. Then, oh, wow. The King of Pentacles comes in. Interesting. Okay, so recognizing that within the dynamic of because it's the same suit, it's both pentacles, and he's young, right? And he's realized. So this is him coming to the other side and joining you in the picnic. Isn't that cool? Okay, so, and if you look, I mean, he's got like, wow, same cards. Someone just said that's the same cards that they got. So there's your confirmation. And then also what's really cool about that is that you can see the way that I'm reading it, right? How I interpret the messages, and then how you interpret the messages when you drew the cards, then you can kind of bring those together. So the recognition and understanding that the only way that we get to here where he delivers and he's sitting in his throne, and I mean, we could also say that this is me, like I want this energy. I want to be, and you know, I can say as a female, right, I want to be the Queen of Pentacles, but there's the energy of the King of Pentacles. I dig that energy. Like I want to be that strong and resolute in my material matters, right? In the way that I show up in the world. I like the idea of I can be the queen because that's the divine feminine energy, but the energy of the divine masculine, I want to embody that as well. That makes me strong. That makes me protected too, right? As a single woman living in the woods, I have to protect myself, you know, and I work out and make sure, like I don't own a gun or anything like that, but I mean, I've thought about it, right? Because how do I protect myself? But if I'm strong in my constitution and I have a strong relationship with spirit, then I also can embody the kingly attributes within my system. So I'm balanced though. I don't want to be too, you know, distorted masculine, but I want to be a warrior, you know, as a light warrior, we'll call me that. We'll call, you know, anybody who's watching this that, you know, it's kind of a cheeky term, but that's really what it is, because it's not, you know, the woo-woo part, like that's great and it has its space, but it's not going to fight the good fight. It's you know, that woo-woo part or that divine feminine, when it becomes distorted, can be shrinking, right? And a shrinking violet doesn't serve the greater good. So if it's about me and what I'm desiring in my life, the universe is saying, the spirit saying that you're going to get what's being delivered, what you're desiring to be delivered to you is going to be received through the release of what no longer serves you, through the death of your old story. Okay. And then he comes in. So if you're going, well, I don't know what else I need to release, that's what I would, and it's so beautiful again, because this is this full moon energy. So I would write, this is what I would personally write. Whatever it is that I am still needing to release from my system in order to get what I desire, I'm releasing now. The identified and the unidentified, right? So you don't have to overanalyze, because overanalyzing will keep you the overanalyzing keeps him on the other side, makes him even more slow than he already is, right? So we want to release. I don't need to analyze it. I recognize there must be something still because I haven't gotten this yet, right? So I'm open to releasing that, and I let it go, and I'm ready for the new to come in. I'm ready for my new story. And I always like to add with ease and grace, because we don't want it to be like a jolt of like, oh God, here comes the new story. And it's sort of like overwhelming. I like it to be able to be easy, which is actually a really good attribute of this kind of energy. Because he's slow, it's easy, right? So we like that. We don't like slow, but we like easy, right? So think about that in regard to when things come really, really fast. It's a little bit harder to integrate than when they come in slower. So the goal is to be in balance, right? And balance comes through the death card as well, because as I release what no longer serves, I come into balance intrinsically, automatically through intention. So what's really cool about this death card, people don't like the death card, but if you look, he's on his way to the light, and he's recognizing that in order for me to get to where I need to go, there's going to be some things that are going to happen that we need to let go of. And that recognizing also that death is not the end, that death is the beginning of a new story, right? When someone, the way that I align with death, and I do some mediumship work, sometimes, people will call for a reading, and a family member will come through, and the message consistently is that, like, I'm still here, and now you're getting to learn how to be in relationship with me in a different way, right? I am closer to you. A lot of times the message that I get to is that I am actually closer to you now than I've ever been. And it's just the way that we're translating to each other now. Instead of translating through physical form, we're translating through, divine downloads. And so that's cool that in this realm right now that we are in the space of the North and the South Node moving, which is about stories, and that the full moon is about releasing what no longer serves us so that we can get into our new story, and that rebirth happens. So the new story is the rebirth. So, and new stories, you guys, doesn't mean it doesn't have to be like this huge dismantling of everything, right? Like, I've got to move out of my house, and I've got to, I got to find a new place to live. I got to cut all my hair off. I got to, that's one thing about the scorpionic energy. It can be really, really intense and extreme. And so, this is a silly analogy, but like I just said, I got to cut all my hair off. Okay, so maybe instead of cutting your hair, just wash it and blow dry it, right? Or just trim it if that's something that you can do. Like, don't go to the extreme that you may feel that you want to. Temper it with the acknowledgement that extreme energy is not where you're going to be in 3 days, right? Like, in 3 days from now, if you did that, you would probably regret it if you shaved your head. You get what I'm saying? So also watch your, I don't know, I'm just getting to say this. Watch your alcohol intake, especially the next 2 days, because alcohol is called spirits for a reason. And the story about why it's called spirits is because what happens when you drink, and this is to the point of inebriation, like one beer, me and my beer, or one glass of wine, or sipping on a nice bourbon or something, that's fine, but not to excess. Because what happens when we drink to excess is we basically go into a mode, like our consciousness kind of leaves us, right? So your consciousness kind of goes into this numbing, that's the best way to describe it, this numbing. And you know what it feels like is, then that's why we like alcohol too, because it helps with pain. It helps, it, you know, gives us courage. It's a really great elixir for those kinds of things. But at a certain point, it turns into this dummying down of your conscious. And then what happens is spirits can come in to your body. So if you've ever experienced a person who gets like completely inebriated and they like kind of zone out and they're not acting themselves, it's because a spirit's overtaken them. That's why it's called spirits. So that's, you want to watch that this next couple days because of the scorpionic energy with the full moon. It's going to be really, really potent. And just be mindful if that's a choice that you're going to make. And also to, you know, the people around you noticing. Now, it's interesting because we're not going to the bars anymore, right? But if like tonight would be one of those nights where it would be like howling at the moon, like people would be kind of crazy, and there'll still probably be a little bit of craziness, I would say, tonight into tomorrow, watching collectively to just see. If you watch the news, just notice it. And then, but, you know, also be mindful of that. So I'm going to pull another card, an oracle card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Again, Colette Baron-Reid in her awesome decks. Here's what it looks like. And then if you guys have any questions, you can always DM me, member questions for the collective. I also am doing one-on-one readings via phone. The links are in my bio. There's also free resources on my website. If you go to loveandjustice.com or stacyjustice.com and you click on free resources, right now there's 3 meditations that will help you. One of them is really cool. It's about staying in the flow. There's another one about pure positive energy. I think, you know, there's 3 of them in there that will maybe help you if you need some sort of tools to help yourself be balanced. So let's see what the Wisdom Oracle wants to express to us today. Remember, take what works, leave behind what doesn't, use your discernment. This is the age of Aquarius, which is question everything. So that means to me, I question everything with curiosity, not with judgment, with curiosity to see how it feels within me. And then that also strengthens my intuition. Okay, so this card is Fork in the Road. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what we were just talking about. So the fork in the road. You know what's cool about this card is it feels like no matter which road, no matter which choice you made, you'd be cool, right? So if you're worrying about the choice that you're wanting to make, you know intuitively what that choice is. You know what you need to release. You know which way you need to go. Okay? So when you have to get real with that though, and how, you know, so sometimes people don't know. Like that's a lot of the reason why people will call me is because they want to know which way to go. They're at the fork in the road. And the message is always very clear in regard to that, like in my own personal life, is that you really know, Stacy, which one. You know, are you having a difficult time choosing because you're afraid to let go of something, right? And that's usually it. Like I can tell you, you know, making a choice around leaving particular relationships, you know, how many times did you know really way before? Right? Like how long do you hold on to a relationship in your life when you've known that you should like be saying goodbye? So that's a big fork in the road, right? So it's always about your intuition and trusting your intuition. And if you need help learning how to hone into your intuition, that's also what I'm here for. So I can help you do that because that's the end goal. The end goal is for everyone to trust their intuition and live an intuitive life, which is the age of Aquarius. And then, you know, we don't have these like problems, quote unquote, making a decision because we're learning how to release and love ourselves in real time. And loving yourself meaning that you trust yourself, that you have your own sovereignty, that you know what works best for you because you know yourself, know thyself, right? And you know yourself through through meditation and through checking in. All right, so I'm going to actually read this now. Fork in the road is number 13, which is 4. Very interesting because I had 2 and 3 on Monday. So 4 brings us into, like, it's more of a partnership, and I'm not a numerologist, but there's this idea of 2 and 2, right? So that there's also things that exponentially will build on themselves. So hold on one second. I'm trying to find it so I can read it. I like to read other people's things too. You know, it's interesting when you do oracle work or you do tarot work. I like to read what other people's interpretations of the cards are, and then also have obviously my own interpretation of the card, which is what you see I just did first. I had that interpretation based on what I got intuitively, and then also how, isn't it cool how it this card correlates with the tarot, because the fork in the road is the knight versus the king, right? Okay, so here we go. Essential meaning. Time to make a decision. Considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make the necessary choice. I'm going to read that again. Time to make a decision. Considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. So these are deeper choices. These, like what I was talking about in regard to this scorpionic full moon energy, these are deeper releases, okay? And the deeper you go in the release, the more benefit you're going to get. Like if you play small, you're going to win small, right? The more you bet, the better the payout will be, right? So that's kind of what it is. Like, what are you willing to release? Yes, I've been in a space where I've been releasing for since December. And so my release now I'm just tweaking my releases, and I am going deeper. So I've made the sort of bigger releases already. So I recognize I don't need to like jump off a cliff, right? In order to get what I want, because I've been doing the release, but I'm looking at things from a deeper level, and Spirit's showing me what I need to release. You know, it's very interesting. Okay, so it says the oracle message is, every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? So recognizing and understanding that the choices that you make are furthering your dreams, are furthering the story that you desire. So that's a question you can ask. Is this choice I'm making going to benefit my story? I mean, that's a question we should be asking, quote unquote, be asking every decision that we make. Is this cake going to benefit the 5-pound weight loss that I desire? Oh, bless. Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice, and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. So that's exactly what I said about this card at the beginning. No matter what choice you make, the path is going to be what it needs to be for you. Okay? So what happens when we do things like we're having a hard time making a choice, the fork in the road, which choice do I make? Then we're standing at the fork in the road, not making a choice, right? And nothing's happening. There's more of the same. By making the choice, no matter what it is, you're still on, you're allowing yourself to go down your path. And that's the most important part. And for me, the biggest thing is if I'm making a choice from my heart, and my heart centered, not the pleaser heart, because the challenge with, I think, a lot of us is that we're afraid if we make a choice that's for our greatest good that someone's gonna miss out, right? Like it won't be good for my kid, or it won't be good for my husband, or it won't be good for my mom, or it won't be good for, right? Fill in the blank. That's all a line. That's bullshit. That's all a lie. Because when I'm choosing from my heart, I'm choosing for my greatest good, and it will benefit them. Now, there are people that will come in, maybe, especially narcissistic people who are selfish, who will say, oh my God, I can't believe that you made that choice. That doesn't benefit me, right? So they're trying to get you to make a choice that benefits them. But what the truth of it is the choice that you make, if you make it from your heart, it really does benefit them. They might not think it benefits them in the right now, because it's like taking away something. So let's use the cake as the example, right? If I'm taking away, if I have a person in my life who says I want to lose 10 pounds, right? And then they want cake, and I'm saying I'm going to make a decision not to make cake. It's going to benefit us both, and then they get pissed because they want the cake. It's really benefiting them. I know that's kind of a silly analogy, but the goal is for you to understand that your choices that you make benefit everyone, regardless of whether they think it does or not, okay? So just remembering that as you move into this space. And again, I would invite you to write down what you want to release, what you need to release in order to create the story that you desire, okay? And so you've got to get clear about the story that you desire, right? What are the aspects of that? Like where do you want to live? How do you want to be? What kind of relationship do you want to have? All those kinds of things, right? Whatever your story looks like. If I'm not there now, what is it that I need to release in order to get there? So you write, I am releasing blah, 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 in order for me to get to the story that I'm desiring to create. And you can, write it intuitively, and then, doing that this evening, and then setting, if you can create a little fire, don't burn anything down. But if you can burn the piece of paper and ask the universe to take care of it, and that you're opening yourself up for this new story. Okay. Again, I'm here for you guys. I'll be here on Friday. I may check in. I may do the full moon thing tomorrow. I may do it live. It just depends on my schedule. But if I'm not doing the full moon live, I will be definitely here on Friday morning to talk about it. And DM me if you have any questions for the collective. And I love you all. And I'm sending you many peace and blessings.